like good luck.
That would blow passing over.
Oh, wait.
Standing there and it
would blow your hair over, man.
Right, but see, if we're going product off, your product is much more natural.
Wow.
You've got the comb over.
Wow.
I've got the style. And I'm also, welcome back to Get Up. I'm Matt Berry coming to you live from above the Heineken River Deck at Pier 17. Much more of this witty repartee coming up. I do want to start with the game of the night, though. Lakers and Pacers. Lakers came in on a bit of a losing streak. No panic there, but the Pacers have been playing well. As for LeBron James, 10-plus points, 1,282 straight games. That goes back to Monica's high school days.
Yes, it does.
2007. Here, he knew early on, wasn't scoring Monica, but he had to distribute.
I mean, he understands that he has the ability to draw to, and now with Luka Doncic as his running mate, there's no pressure on him to do it all by himself. Look, here comes two again. This ball's going to pop around the perimeter. One of the things that stood out to me was the balance. Yes, Luka and LeBron led the way in scoring, but other than that, they got double-digit production from their role guys across the board.
Again, 3 points, 0 for 6 from the field to the first 3 quarters. He was struggling. We're keeping an eye on the 10 points. They led by 3. Then James, 5 points, mid-range jumper, just 3 points away from extending that to 1,283 straight games of 10 points. There it is. Keeps the streak alive. Lakers lead 105-92. Pacers on a run, though. Miles Turner, big 3.
Cash, modern 5, able to stretch the floor. That was a big bucket.
But here comes Luka in the Lakers. This is what he gives them, Monica, especially come postseason time when you need a big shot.
Cold, straight up, not shying away from the moment as well. This shot, though, as big as any in terms of giving the Lakers a lead.
Game high 34 points. Lakers lead 112-110. And then under a minute to go, Tyrese Halliburton, 16 points, 18 assists. Pacers grab the lead 119-118 after the free throw, bucket, and foul. It sets us up for this Lakers final possession. Here's Mark Jones.
Down court. Luka with 2 for the win. Tipped up and in. LeBron James at the buzzer. Not always there when you call, but always on time.
That was his first game-winning buzzer beater as a Laker, which in and of itself is hard to believe. 13 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists. They snapped the 3-game losing streak. LeBron talked about that game winner postgame.
To be honest, I didn't know how I felt because I was just trying to see if I was trying to look at the jumbotron to see if I got it off. But you know, this team has been playing extremely well in the Pacers, man, and we haven't been the last few games. So it was great to come into a hostile environment and get a win in that fashion.
You know, Monica, something jumped out to you with the Lakers in that buzzer beater. It was their reaction. Why did that grab your attention?
I think we got to remember that this group still is sort of late formed, right? A little bit before the trade deadline, Luka Doncic arrives in a Lakers uniform. Between injuries, their availability has been questionable. But these moments, to me, are big trust deposits, right? In terms of being able to trust your guys in clutch moments. The smile of Luka Doncic in this huddle as he sees this ball go down, like, the chemistry, I think, is something in sport that gets you over the hump. And in a jam-packed West, I buy these guys as contenders. In a jam-packed West, it's going to be little details and connections like that are going to help separate those teams.
It's also big to do it on the road.
Pacers have been playing
good. You go on the road, hostile environment, 3-game losing streak, and you do that.
For sure. And I got to give, what's that field house name? I'm blanking on the name. Bankers Fieldhouse. Like, those fans, they get up. The Lakers are in there. I'm sure it was loud. It was in there. Tyrese Halliburton, you could see the Pacers' faces after that basket goes in because this was a tense and contentious basketball game. The Pacers are trying to jump in the standings a little bit as well, so I'm sure there was a lot of energy, mirrored a playoff environment in my mind.
The 10-point streak, 1,283 games. I mentioned that it goes back to 2007, which seems like a long time ago. You were actually still in high school.
Sure was.
We can go by the numbers on that if we wanted to. But 10 points in 1,283 straight games, that is incredible.
You know, Matt, you and I, we've been doing this for a long time, and we love sport. I do think there's still this, we take LeBron James for granted, right? Like, consistency, let alone in sports, but in life, is elusive enough for many of us on a regular level, right? But for him to be able to have this sustained greatness, and I know we've talked about it a lot this year as he's turned 40 and 22 years in the league, but you really got to stop and think. Like, these are things that are not done in commonplace, and I think as fans, I hope that we're all smart enough to really enjoy it and not be in a situation where you miss it when he does finally decide it's a wrap.
Let's bring in our ESPN NBA reporter, Tim McMahon, now. And Tim, put into perspective what we were just talking about. So many consecutive games dating back 18 years of 10-plus points.
Half
1.5 times the next longest streak. It is a unbelievably historic accomplishment. Honestly, it's as much about his durability as it is his dominance. The fact that he hasn't had to leave a game early to injury without getting to that double-figure mark. And, last night, 3 points through 3 quarters. They were getting LeBron the rock in the 4th quarter. Not just about the milestone, but, Luka can't do it all the time. He's got to rest a little bit. And LeBron took over that game when they needed to get them back in it, to keep them in it, and then obviously to finish the job here.
I will also add, though, too, Tim and Matt, yesterday hanging out with my guys on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, Carmelo Anthony's podcast and Rudy Gay, and we actually were talking about how the game has changed and how some guys were impacted by analytics off the sound of Jeff Teague saying analytics put him out of the league. We also got to appreciate that LeBron has been able to play in every era of basketball. His presence on the floor translates beyond any style that seems to be trendy. And again, a complete testament to his ability to stay healthy.
Yeah, when you play in the NBA that long, you're going to pass through different eras of basketball, and he's certainly done so at maybe the highest level we've ever seen. Before the game, at LeBron game winner for the Lakers, he was on our Pat McAfee show yesterday. He's asked about this all the time, but again, he was asked how much longer does he think he's going to be able to play?
It's popping up more and more every year, because obviously I know I'm on the other side of the hill than the previous side. For me, it's my mind. I am all about the process. I am all about the process. And if it gets to the point where I don't feel like showing up to the arena 5 hours in advance, or I don't feel like training, or I don't feel like studying the scout sheet of guys, if it gets to that point, I know, you know what, Brian, it's a wrap.
Tim, he said something interesting there. He said it's about the mind, meaning he believes physically he's going to be able to play 3, 4, 5 more years. What did you make of his comments?
Well, look, it's also about the mind, and he knows he's still one of the best players in the NBA. He knows he's still a no-brainer All-NBA selection. I just cannot imagine him walking away from that when he also knows that with Luka Doncic, he's going to have a chance to contend. He's going to have a chance to be competitive, and he doesn't have to carry the load for 4 quarters. He can kind of cruise and find ways to contribute for 3 and be that closer with Luka now. Until I see decline, I'm not taking any retirement talk seriously.
Especially with Luka in his prime. He knows they can go on a little bit of a run, Monica. Joe Fortenbaugh is actually standing by to do some college basketball best bets. I'm going to take his job for 1 minute.
Okay.
I'm going to set the over-under on LeBron's years left in the NBA, 4.5.
Well, I'm inclined to take the over just because I think he's a guy that knows exactly what he's doing. And his son, Bryce, his second son, is not that far away. Now, in that interview, he did poo-poo the idea of waiting on Bryce. But if it's close, why not? Now, I will say this, though. I do not see LeBron James as a guy that's going to limp off. I think we will all be like, he could go again. And to his point, if his mind is on other things, he will walk away. I don't see him ever being 8th man off the bench, none of that. I don't think he's gonna ride it till the wheels fall off, literally, physically. I do think he's gonna be like, all right, I have all the money in the world, and I'm off to my next endeavors.
Right, and he has a ton of them outside of basketball. He's been doing it as good as anybody. You talk about adjusting with the Times broadcast or production company. Yeah, Tim McMahon, go.
Yeah, listen, he's also a competitor, and I'm sure he knows exactly how old Tom Brady was when he retired, the GOAT of football. I don't think LeBron would mind topping that, and we'll see. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Again, we've never seen a 40-year-old be a dominant player like this. We've never seen a 40-year-old still be one of the best 2 or 3 players on the floor in any single game, in any playoff series that the Lakers will play in this season. So mid-40s, I certainly would not rule that out.
And he had the 1 title in the bubble COVID season. He's the guy that I just get the sense that he wants to get 1 more.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the most important thing we said is that Luka Doncic changes his timeline.
Yeah.
Because he alleviates some of that pressure in a way that I don't know that he's had a running mate that did that maybe since Miami, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm with you. But I also think that runs parallel to whatever his mind is. And I think we might all be like, really, you done? And he's like, yeah, I am.
Also important for LeBron to stay in the league for a few more years. He must drink beet juice. If he drinks his beet juice.
Hangover helper, not hungover, but a combination of beet, ginger, carrot, and apple. My favorite.
There you go. Beet juice for the win. Look at that. At least they saran wrapped it for you. That was nice of
I know.
them.
I used to make a mess and try to undo it. Now I just stick the straw on top.
All right, well.
Smart.
There you go, Tim. You're in L.A. They got a juice bar in every corner there. It's like a 7-Eleven. Guys, thank you. Let's switch